It's Laurie McNaughton, your Scale Up Business Coach. Today I'm going to talk about turning your team into your company's greatest advantage. I've talked about team. This is probably my favorite subject and favorite thing to work on with companies is to help them develop their teams. But I've talked about this long before I got into business coaching, and that is that no company ever succeeds at the highest level without a great team of people around them. And the best way to get the most out of a great team of people is there's a couple of things. Understanding first the fundamentals of building a great team, which are pretty simple. And then there's the energy behind building a great team of people. So if I could talk maybe a little bit about the fundamentals first, and that is, and then I'll talk about the energy. I'll go down that rabbit hole a bit because, first of all, top corporations around the world are really utilizing neuroscience in developing their leaders today now. And so I'm bringing that to the masses because I work with small, medium-sized business owners. But I'm going to talk about that and how you can apply those concepts and ideas to really develop your team. So first off, you need to have a vision and a mission and the core set of values. Why is that? Because players want to know that they are going to come to work for a place where their hopes, dreams, desires, and goals can be met. And these are really the foundation and fundamentals of building a great culture inside a company. So now people talk about visions, people talk about missions. Almost all companies talk about one or the other of those and some core values or some culture statement or however you want to describe that. Here's how I describe it. The vision is where you want to go. The mission is how you're going to get there. And then the core values is how people will behave on the way there. So this is the foundational part. This is where you should start. Clearly define the vision of the company, the mission of the company, and the core values of the company. So the next thing you want to do is develop your org chart or organizational chart. And what that does is it helps the team understand a few things. One is the hierarchy of the company, who they answer to, who they don't answer to, and what their role in the company is. Whether it's leadership, management, execution, product or project management, whatever the case might be, sales, administration, accounting, financing, bookkeeping, whatever it is that's their role, and really clear on what that role is. I'm going to talk about that here in a second. And they also want to know where the future may be. So is this company growing so that potentially I could grow if I'm one of these people that wants and desires to grow? Not everybody does, and not everybody should want to. Everybody should want to grow a little bit, but not everybody wants to be like a leader or manager or anything like that. The other thing you want to do is create a really clear job description, almost as if, and you could even write a mission statement around what that job description entails. So this is when we hire you into this position, this is what we expect of you to do this. This is how we expect you to do that. Really clear on what that is, because people want to know, first of all, and it's not because some people will say to me, well, yeah, they'll say it's outside of my job description. You know what? I think that probably happens a lot in unions. Well, I know it does. And part of the reason why it happens in unions is because they really, they just say, no, this person can't work outside of their job description. But you as a small business owner, people can't say it's outside of my job description. Your job description may encompass a lot of things, but fundamentally, this is why we're hiring you. Here's part of the reason. First of all, you need to know what it is, because if you don't know what it is that they're supposed to do and what they're supposed to accomplish, then they won't know what they're supposed to do and what they're accomplish. So the next thing you do is to create some kind of a scorecard for them. Why? Because people want to know if they're winning the game. And I'm sure you want to know if they're winning the game or not. I sometimes hear, uh, especially since COVID, where a lot of people started working from home and saying, oh, you can't have people working from home because you don't know if they're working or not. I'm telling you, if you don't know if they're working, whether they're at home or sitting in the office, you're got yourself in trouble already. You need to have KPIs, key performance indicators, critical drivers, and again, this clarity around what's expected of them. And if they deliver on that, then you know they're doing their job. Versus if you're sitting there looking at them and they look like they're doing their job, but in actual fact they're doing whatever. So those are sort of the fundamentals of getting a great team of people together. And now this is the key part that really changes everything, and that is energy. Part of this comes from this book that I read called Conversational Intelligence, How Great Leaders Build Trust and Get Extraordinary Results by Judith Glazier. And part of this also comes from books that I've read by Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, You Are Supernatural, Evolve the Brain, stuff like that. This is more around the neuroscience of things and understanding fundamentally how energy works. Now, I'm going to try to paint a picture that's easy to understand because most people can relate to this, and that is we've all experienced where we've met somebody and that you started talking to them and all of a sudden the energy just continued to build like this, and the next thing you know, you're having this really dynamic conversation and it's just something that's really quite exciting. That's energy. And then you've also ran into somebody or talked to somebody where it went the exact opposite way, and you find yourself in a situation where you go, oh my God, how do I get myself out of here now? That's energy. Now, if you can imagine both of those energies, one in your business, one that's powerful and moves everybody forward, or one that sucks the life out of everybody. So you can imagine what that would do to help you build a business that really performs at the highest level. So everything, and this is the little bit of the rabbit hole I'm going to try not to go too far down, but everything in the universe is made up of energy. We're made up of energy. This book is made up of energy. This cup is made up of energy. Everything is made up of energy. And everything is vibrating at a certain level. So think about it from the perspective of how do I get inside my business? Now, you don't need to create that for the book, but get inside people's minds and hearts and souls that creates that energy that just makes them feel like, I want to come to work and I want to be the best that I can be. Now, there's some things you're going to need to understand and learn about leadership, which two books that you should read. One is John Maxwell's 5 Levels of Leadership. Powerful, powerful book to really help you understand, how leaders are perceived. And then Michael Abershoff, It's Your Ship. Buy that book and read it. It's just a hugely powerful book for you to help you understand what leadership is all about. So, just to tie this up a little bit more, because this idea of how our brains function, which is really around this sort of neuroscience, if I could say that, everybody can relate to a time when they got into an intense discussion or argument with somebody, and it just kept getting higher and higher and higher level of energy, to the point where you sat there and you could not think of a thing to say because you were so activated. That's a good term to use, activated. The energy is just like off the scale, and you've gone into what science would call survival, and you stop thinking about we and you only think about me, my survival. And at that level now, this cortisol and adrenaline is just like pumping through your veins. And basically, at that point, you're thinking about survival. You're not thinking about how do I solve this. And your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain where you do your thinking in, shuts down because it's not important at this particular point. So you are just so angry, so mad, you just storm out of the room, and then you go and sit down in your office. And after a couple of minutes, you start to calm down. your parasympathetic nervous system starts to come back online, and you start to relax, and you start thinking, I could have said this, and I could have said that, and all of this would have been positive comments that would have moved us forward in that conversation. So I hope this helps. Um, this is a really great book to read because it's really all about building trust inside an organization through science-based information versus just what I want to conceptual ideas. Which these two books, I said, they're awesome. Please go out and buy them. I don't care how small your business is. Go out and buy them. It'll be healthy for you to read them, but it'll also change those people who work with you for you, because you'll really change the focus in that you're focusing, or what you focus on. So I hope that helps. Develop your vision, mission, and core values. Create an organizational chart. And I'll say there's really kind of two ways you can look at your organizational chart. One is I would build it as if my business was done, meaning it's a highly profitable business that thrives and grows even when I'm not there. So that means that all of those roles need to be filled in by other people. Now, when you do that and you go to put the names in there, obviously your name is going to be in quite a few of those boxes to start with. But your goal is to, over time, is to end up bringing other people and putting them into those boxes, so you free up more of your time, so you can spend your time growing your business, scaling it up, that sort of thing. Understanding your what was I going to say? The foundations of building a successful team will just help you accelerate the growth inside your company. And when you've got everybody firing on all cylinders, I don't know if you've heard the acronym for TEAM. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, you probably have, but TEAM, together, everybody achieves more. When you get everybody working together to solve problems, to create something special, you're going to, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. You're not going to feel the levels of anxiety and stress that a lot of business owners feel, and I know that. First of all, I've gone through it myself, but secondarily to that, I've coached a lot of business owners who were in that sort of space where, sometimes, do I have enough money at the end of the month to pay payroll, stuff like that, and getting to the place where that's not an issue anymore. So, this is the most exciting part of building any business, is what you can do for the people who work for you and help you succeed at the highest level. Because when you change people's lives, first of all, your life is going to change dramatically. It's so much easier to work with people who know, like, and trust you. And as Maya Angelou says, people won't remember what you said or did, but they will remember how you made them feel. So do your best to make them feel validated, valued, and appreciated. And you're going to see some significant changes in your business. Okay, again, I got to remember to do this. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. This helps me grow my channel and grows my reach. My goal is to help like 1,000 small business owners in the next 5, 6, 7 years to really transform their businesses, where they get to have create a lifestyle from their business rather than their business being their life. Because there's more to life than just working, especially if you have a family. Don't ever forget your family. Really, really important. And don't forget those people who work for you, because they also have families as well. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. We're just about at the, little over 14 minutes. Again, my name is Laurie McNaughton, your Scale Up Business Coach. Please like and subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends who are owning businesses and or thinking about getting into a business, because my channel is just chock-a-block full of great advice, great teaching, great coaching around how to build an exceptional business. Take care, and until such time as that we have an opportunity to chat, I wish you much success. Take care.